Well, hello and welcome everybody. We are here for the Oceanic Season 3 Championships here for League of Legends live from PAX Australia. My name is FIGJAM. I'm going to be joined, of course, for the broadcast by my longtime friend, longtime color commentator as well, Papa Smithy. Papa, probably the biggest stage we've seen, probably the biggest stage these players have seen. How are you feeling?
I'm hyped, Pastry Time. At the end of the day, I can see this huge crowd out there. Everyone looks really excited. But I'm not the only one that's hyped because we have two teams here today. They're looking to fight for a chance to win a share of $40,000, and that's not all. They get to follow their dream, follow the path to pro, get to Gamescom, and potentially win a spot at World Finals.
Absolutely. Such a big opportunity here in Oceania. Such a big opportunity as well. So great to be here live from PAX to bring this to you, and we're going to bring out the teams right now for you. So to kick things off, on the blue side is going to be FIGJAM. And of course, over on the right side is HotSoggyDecimate. So Papa, two teams, we've seen them play in the qualifiers. There's a massive, massive bracket to get here. 603 teams altogether. What are we going to be expecting here from these two?
Well, I mean, 603 teams actually played in the event. There was actually 845 teams that registered. A high turnout, but we're down to 4, and they're 4 of the best.
Yeah, and you can see the head-to-head there on your screen as well. Over on the top there, those are FIGJAM. They're the blue side here to kick things off. HotSoggyDecimate on the bottom. They'll be on the red side. So the top lane matchup here, Riolu versus Suna. I mean, what more can we say about Riolu from FIGJAM other than he loves Rumble?
He does love the Rumble. It's been target banned against him all the way through the previous rounds. So will we see it today? Probably not. But if we do see it, that equalizer is certainly going to change a fight or two.
Absolutely. And Suna, of course, we've seen him before playing fairly aggressively, but I think he wouldn't really be anywhere much like any top laner without his jungler. Hot Soggy Noodles has been doing work for his team, and given that he's a veteran of the scene as well, it's no real surprise.
And it's not just Hot Soggy Noodles Pastry Time. Hot Soggy Noodles, Elevate, I Will Decimate, and Zephyrus have all been very long-term members of the scene. They've been all the different teams. They've been on the Carnage, the Frenetic Array, and the other famous names of Australian esports. But here they are today.
And Blurry90, of course, absolutely obscenely aggressive. If you thought Hot Soggy Noodles did work, Blurry goes absolutely insane every single game. He loves his Elise. He loves his Jarvan. And, I mean, FIGJAM, I said they're an aggressive team. Trashboat as well. I mean, Riolu, here's the Rumble. Trashboat is definitely a Lux.
Absolutely. And the Lux target ban, well-deserved, I think. The snipes, those, not the Finalis Fukin anymore. Of course, it's the final spark has really, really been tearing down the opponents.
And Elevate as well has been really playmaking for his team. He's one of those players that when he's on, he's absolutely on fire. And if he can kind of bring that to his team today, really do it when it happens here, when it counts as well in this best of 3 in the semi-final, then he'll make it through here. Of course, we move along there. I Will Decimate there. As you can see, these two teams head-to-head. Wow, that's some pretty impressive stats there. The most banned, Elise it looks like there for the FIGJAM side, and Shen over on the other side. And that GPN is pretty close.
Absolutely. I mean, it's always going to be close. All the metrics are going to be pretty damn similar because these are 4 of the top teams. Right here, 2 of the top teams in Australia.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, as you said, we had so many teams register. Quite a few of them play as well. I mean, some notable names of anyone familiar with the Oceanic scene, they definitely dropped off. But, I mean, now we're seeing these two teams looking very, very strong. You can see their FIGJAM, of course, Riolu, Blurry90, Trashboat, Blue90, and Cocaine. And they're over on the other side there for HotSoggyDecimate. Suna, Hot Soggy Noodles himself, Elevate, Decimate, and Zephyrus have really been doing work. And I mentioned Decimate before, you know, a lot of AD carries, especially Blue90, which I'm sure we'll get into, very, very aggressive. But Decimate, he just never seems to die.
Absolutely, and of the 4 games we've seen Decimate play, he loves that Ezreal. It's the blue Ezreal build, it's the kiting, it's the poking, and he is a master of it.
Absolutely, and of course, Blue90, as I mentioned, he's played a lot of hypercarries. He loves his Tristana, but he is just so aggressive. He would love to get in and just rocket jump on top of a team.
And Tristana's not usually a champion that you see get target banned, is it? You know, it's usually a hypercarry. It's a risky choice, but the respect that's been shown by enemy teams shows you what they think of that Tristana.
Yeah, and of course, the bans could get interesting here as well. We mentioned Rumble and Lux. They're very popular bans against FIGJAM, but I mean, Twitch did a lot of work towards the end of the qualifiers there as well for Blue9, so we'll have to see if things change up here. And of course, over on the other side, last but not least for HotSoggyDecimate, Zephyrus. I mean, if Decimate never dies, maybe a little too passive at times, but you know, he just never wants to get killed. Zephyrus is all about flashing and making those plays.
Absolutely, and even though that Thresh death sentence flash trick has been nerfed, he still tried to pull that off in the semis. He still tries that aggression, and when it works, sets up a bot lane victory for HotSoggyDecimate.
All right, so now we have the two teams. We can bring them out for you finally. It's been way too long here. We are going to bring them out here to kick things off. It is going to be FIGJAM. Sorry, my mistake, guys. HotSoggyDecimate.
And HotSoggyDecimate Pastry Time, I mean, when I think of them, I think of veterans, and they're almost like a band of brothers, because a lot of these players, they've been together a long time. They know how they play, sometimes from being on the same team, sometimes from just seeing them around the scene, but they work together really well.
Yeah, they really do, and I mean, we saw, a lot of defensive sort of play from them. They're playing a lot of poke, but I mean, they really played it to a T. Their control, their team fight, just absolutely amazing. They were spread out all over the place to avoid AoEs, and really it's crisp, methodical, very, very precise play that's gotten HotSoggyDecimate this far.
And it's one of those things where they play those poke comps, they play that siege. If you make a mistake as a siege comp against, say, an AoE comp or just a standard comp, you can't always get back into the game. So to play such a risky style and pull it off like they have, very impressive up to this point.
Absolutely, and really, as I said, just very scientific play. As you really do have to be careful, but they just, once they got control, they never seem to let go. And I guess on the other side, FIGJAM, relentless aggression. It almost feels like it's a sort of a shield sort of situation here.
Absolutely. And must be time for FIGJAM to come out as well.
It looks like it is, so give it up, guys, for FIGJAM. So as the teams set up and get ready here, what are we expecting, Papa? And we talked a little bit about it, a very aggressive team versus a somewhat defensive team. It's a pretty big crowd. The lights could be on here. I mean, this is the biggest thing either of these teams would have had to play against. Do you think the pressure is going to get to them at all?
I'm just really interested to see what we learned from the previous round, the round of 8, and how that will affect the games we see here. I mean, for example, FIGJAM, they really had those targeted bans put out against them by Daisy Parade, the round of 8 opponents. The Lux, the Tristana, the Rumble saw no play in that series, but they still triumphed. So it says to me there's still some tinkering to do with those bans, maybe the Twitch, because the Twitch was doing a lot of work. That was picked all 3 games there by Blue 9-0, but adaptations, I think, adaptations are plenty here.
Absolutely. I mean, you mentioned their AD player, their support as well, Cocaine. His thresh is absolutely terrifying. I mean, they're just such an aggressive team. They get in every single time they possibly can. He just loves to initiate with their hook and put the box in there as well. And I mean, I don't know, it's going to be hard here for HotSoggyDecimate, but as you said, absolute veterans of the scene here in Oceania, and I guess in Australia in this case. They've been around forever. I mean, how many different teams have they played on?
I mean, I mentioned some of the names before. Frenetic Array, Mind Freak, Sequential, Carnage, all big names of the Australian esports scene. All that competitive experience, it makes a difference. It's not just the mechanics that are important in League of Legends. It's a team game. You need to know how to work with a team. You need to know how to function in a big environment like this, where you have a big crowd, there is that pressure, people are watching from around the world. It's not easy. It's not something you pick up the first time. And some players here who might not have that experience could struggle.
They could, they really could. And one of the interesting things, I guess, you mentioned they've all been part of big organizations. Not the case here. They've just kind of, they're running with it. But it looks like we are ready to get into Champ Select here. So we're going to start off game 1 here. FIGJAM versus HotSoggyDecimate. All right, so here we go to kick things off. Of course, on the left there, Ari banned out by FIGJAM. I don't think I've seen that trick before, but Elevate has been playing a pretty good Ari.
And Elevate here, I mean, some of these people out here, I imagine a lot of the fans, they don't have a point of reference for who is Elevate. What sort of a player is he? And if I was to make a comparison to any one player that you guys would know about, TSM Reginald. He is all about the lane aggression. He's all about using that Ignite at level 1 or level 2, trying to get that advantage early and set the tone from there. So an aggressive champion like Ari, who you can kind of blind pick, play aggressive, really take control of the lane, just get rid of her.
Yep, so and as you see there, that is not a mistake on the screen. HotSoggyDecimate actually missing out on a ban this game, unfortunately, due to a warning. So, I mean, it really shows you the pressure of the situation. Everything's on, the lights are here, the money's on the line, but, the teams have been really, really strictly enforced in terms of the rules. So, no ban there for HSD, but they will get it here for the next round. And Jace getting banned here as well. Another champion Elevate played beautifully in the qualifiers.
And even though Jace, she's seen a lot of play, we know his strengths, we know that long-term poke, that long-range poke, which we've said, of course, that's what HotSoggyDecimate's all about. They love that long-range engage and poke. Ban it out. It's a champion that's really, really strong, even on this, I believe, on the 3.9 patch here.
Yes, we are. Jace did receive a slight nerf.
But still very strong.
Absolutely, and you can see the Tristana ban there coming out. And Rumble, curiously enough, banned by FIGJAM. I guess they don't want to give it to the other team. They may have expected it to be banned. I mean, it's interesting here. HSD, you mentioned 3 champions that are very, very bannable against FIGJAM. But, I mean, obviously here, HSD, with being down a ban in this game, have to make a bit of an adaptation. So we'll have to see. And I think a very strong pick there. No Elise for the blue side. And that champion, whenever she's open, is almost always first picked, Papa.
And HotSoggyDecimate actually have shown proficiency with Elise jungle and Elise top. So to ban it out there, definitely a respect ban. They just don't want the champion in the game.
No, not at all. So we'll see what FIGJAM want to pick up for their first pick here. They've got so many choices. Wouldn't be too surprised if a Thresh come out maybe. I've definitely seen that here. I mean, I think it's indicative of the situation, given that these teams are taking their time. Online, they were just insta-lock, and there we go. There's Trash Boat's luck that we talked about before. I mean, Elevate's played a great Lux as well. It's also a nice blocker pick in that regard as well. But I guess people are going to stick with their guns, and I think Soggy Noodles may be doing the same here, because he's going to go with Nasus, and a great pick here for Thresh as well.
So the first time we saw HotSoggy Noodles on stream, he loved playing the aggressive ganking junglers. Then he moved over to Nasus, which is a different feel, right? You don't pick Nasus for lane pressure necessarily in terms of getting a kill, but his AoE wave clear, his ability to push down lanes is really, really strong. So I think that's what they're looking for here, a bit of pushing power from the jungle.
Yeah, definitely. In their the matches to qualify actually for the top 4, they used Nasus twice, I believe, in those games to great effect to clear a champion that's comfortable on. And when you mentioned aggressive junglers, that was more a case of, I think, Elise being open and him not being able to resist playing it. But you're right. I mean, he can definitely play a whole bunch of different things. Soggy Noodles has been around for so long here in this scene, and Nasus is a very strong pick. And again, Thresh, another blocker pick here, taking that away from Cocaine, whose Thresh is just terrifying.
And Trash Boat here, picking up a champion for a friend, and what better one than the Twitch? We alluded to it before, amazing hyper carry play from Blue90 on that Twitch in the semifinals, sorry, in the round of 8. He really blew the team away. He had the Bloodthirst to the Last Whisper and the Phantom Dancer at a really early part time, and of course with the Spray and Pray, he was just wrecking whole teams.
Yeah, and don't think that Blue9 won't be aggressive either. We've seen him ambush aggressively when he's played. We've seen him just generally try and be aggressive. I mean, Twitch is a nice champion, the fact that you can trade fairly aggressively with Expunge. So, I mean, Blue90, I doubt his style is going to change here on lane. And Zac being the next pick up there as well. I mean, that's another very strong champion we actually didn't mention in the draft. But, I mean, Zac, you can't ban them all out. And that's definitely one that a lot of teams have been happy to snap up early.
And actually, when we saw HotSoggyDecimate on stream, they really struggled against that Zac. They tried to go for the long-range engage, and Zac, with his massive slingshot range, really held them in check. It was about 20, 30 minutes longer than a game than we thought it would be from the early advantage, just because of that Zac pick, basically. So Zac might be back to haunt HotSoggyDecimate here.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, as he said, Soggy himself played a very nice Zac, and it is going to get picked up here instead. Although I do like these picks. Annie, who I've not seen forever, a champion very close to my own heart. She's you know, the original and the best, as they say, I guess. And Vayne's going to get picked up here as well, which is no surprise from Decimate.
And, you know, we talked about TSM Reginald. One of his first signature champions, of course, was that Annie. And it was always risky to pick your mid laner first, right? And they opened up with the Lux, possibly because she's strong, possibly because they wanted to take her away from Elevate. And, you know, there's a certain champs that do well against Lux. One of the famous picks is Kassadin. You know, get a hyper carry there who can really assassinate her after level 6. I mean, it's kind of the same thing with Annie when it comes to assassinating someone at level 6, because that tip is damage. Lux is a pretty frail champion, but
she really is. Prismatic Barrier aside, if you can get on top of her, you can usually kill her. And the last 2 picks are coming through here. You can see Shen and Nami, the next picks there from FIGJAM. So, I mean, Nami's something that isn't that aggressive, but we've seen Cocaine play Nami countless times now, it seems, in this qualifier. It always looks very, very good. And this is the last pick I like here. A champion that we probably gushed about during the qualifiers here, Papa Smithy. Zed looks like the last pick here for HSD.
So the Shen pickup on FIGJAM suggests that you're going to have that tanky ninja. He's going to be up top. He's going to try split push whenever his ultimate is up. Ironically, the Zed play style, although he's not going to be tanky, it's very similar. You pick up that Blade of the Ruined King, you look to split. Not many champions can really 1v1 you, and you take down those free objectives just because you're forcing a 4v4 on the rest of the map, and you got that Zed up top. Now, Zed here, he is against Shen, who will build tanky, who can afford to stack armor. Will that matchup work out? I'm not sure, but if it gets going, the incredible wave clear of Zed could be very powerful.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost split push ninja versus split push ninja. I mean, Shen, traditionally very good in those situations. That ultimate, of course, as you mentioned, just able to get him anywhere in a situation. But Zed is really, really scary. I mean, you described the playstyle basically perfectly when we saw him over the qualifiers. It's get a Blade of the Ruined King, leave, go to another lane, and just do it like Nunu bought and push.
And it's one of those things, though, with his fast wave clear, with his ability to take down his turrets quickly, he can show up at a fight. You know, he can split with a Blade of the Ruined King, show up at a fight with Last Whisper and Black Cleaver really fast. Much faster than you'd expect most champions when it comes to accumulating gold. So it's a worry there. And also a strong pick against the Twitch here, the AD carry who doesn't have those innate escapes. He has the invisibility, but that channel is going to be interrupted by the death mark. So if he gets on top of Twitch, I worry for Blue90.
Yeah, I mean, that is always the way when you have squishy champions that Zed is just going to come and assassinate them, and he's very, very good at killing people, it seems like. Very, very efficient. So, I mean, we'll have to see if it all checks out here. The picks are complete. We should be getting into the first game here very momentarily. And, I mean, I think a really great comps, actually, for both these two teams. I think they'll be happy with these picks. I mean, it's interesting. Often in, a best-of-3 series, Papa, you see teams kind of learn each other, learn the metagame against each other in a sense, and you're like, okay, so we know what you did in game 1. We're going to kind of ban this out now and adjust our picks accordingly. Pick some blocker champions, kind of take those away from you. But that happened already in game 1, just because these teams know each other so well and have clearly prepared really excellently here.
Absolutely. There's been a lot of games for them to watch on stream. They've been able to talk to other scrim partners because they wouldn't have been scrimming each other the whole time. They have the information they need. That's why you see contested picks like the Lux going first pick. You wouldn't see that in a normal game just because of the potential for that counter. Maybe it was just the thought that, hey, Elevate plays a good Lux. I know that the Trash Boat also does, and I'm not sure that Elevate plays any of those counters. So it could just be one of those cases of, let's just use our information and try and outpick them like that.
Yeah, but I do like the counter pick here in the Annie, so looking forward to seeing that. Of course, as you said, Lux very squishy, so there could be some problems there. Just to run over the comps for you again, on the FIGJAM side, we've got Shen, Zach, Lux, Twitch, and Nami in there as well. And I mean, we mentioned Hypercarriers, we mentioned Blue 90. Likes to play aggressively. Cocaine as well can definitely set him up with an Aqua Prism potentially. And even if they don't win their early game, which given how they like to play, they probably will, but that is an amazing late game duo.
And you'll remember, we saw some shenanigans happen when we last saw the Twitch Nami combo coming out of FIGJAM. They tried the stealth in the brush with, I believe, the Tidecaller's Blessing from Nami for an all-in at level 1. I'm not sure they're going to pull off the same strat again, but it just showed the potency, because with true stealth, it's not like Evelyn. You cannot see Twitch when he's in stealth, barring pink wards or oracles. You can get on top of someone, have that range though, have the true damage, and just really, really just blow some away, even at level 1.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Tidecaller's Blessing. I believe in that situation, Blue 90 actually had Expunge.
Yes,
so it was just all on hit, all crazy damage all the time. And yeah, someone got blown up there in the bottom lane. I mean, it's something, it's kind of cute. You remember playing at level 20, you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to get to my brush first so I can sneak in there and make sure I get it done. They just kind of pulled that straight, that's fine. Top 8 of the tournament.
I like to call it the Garen conundrum, where you just want to know if the Garen's in the brush, and finding out could be your death.
Yep, so it looks like we're almost ready here to get into this game. Just to run up the HotSoggyDecimate lineup there for you as well. We've got Zed, Nasus, Annie, Vayne, and Thresh. And we've seen this a lot, actually, kind of as we filter down towards the teams in the qualifiers, but it seems to always be Hypercarry versus Hypercarry. We've got Vayne versus Twitch. Absolutely.
You've seen the slight nerfs to other champions. We've still seen the Ezreal, not really a Hypercarry in the damage sense, but he becomes just so escapable. He has that low cooldown blink ability, he has that long range poke, he picks up the Iceborne Gauntlet and can slow. It's a really flexible pick, but here we see the damage. Here we see Twitch versus Vayne. We're going to see people, teams potentially exploding.
Yeah, I mean, it's something you actually mentioned quite a lot when we see Nasus, but that Spirit Fire gives, I believe, armor and magic resist reduction?
I believe it's just the armor reduction, just 40 armor reduction at highest level.
That's unfortunate. It's not going to make any better, but it'll certainly make that Vayne damage and the Zed damage go up as well. So there's a nice little interaction there between those champions. The Ghost as well, the summoner spell pickup for Nasus. So, clearly just picking the mobility option. I think someone earlier today actually said that, hey, I haven't seen Ghost in a while. Well, hey, shout out to you, buddy. There you go. There's some Ghost here on stream to kick off game 1.
Well, Nasus has that really strong wither, for a single target, up to a 95% slow or so, I bet. They're absolutely locked down, but we're loading into game page time. I think we might be able to get started.
Yeah, it looks like we are ready to go. So if you are just joining us here, FIGJAM on the left, they are your blue team. And of course, if you are supporting the boys from HotSoggyDecimate, make some noise. So starting things off in game 1 here, we can see FIGJAM moving out. Be interesting to see what these two teams wanted to kind of set up the early game, but I mean, both Zach and Nasus kind of, need not that much help early game, but they definitely want to make sure they get off to a good start. I mean, not great duelists, definitely better at, I guess, ganking in both their cases. Zach even more so, and I think they want to pick up their first few levels and try and play it safe, especially in the opening game here.
Both junglers also have that really flexible opening. They don't have to worry about, they're not blue constrained necessarily. I mean, Nasus obviously prefers to Spirit Fire down the camps, but they can both start red and very happily navigate to another buff. But it just looks like right now we see a lot of scouting coming out from HotSoggyDecimate for any potential invade, and just general defensive play from FIGJAM.
Just a few wards being put down there as well, so people want to make sure they have vision. But interesting, something could be going down here. I don't know, I mean, both teams, as I said, it is the opening game. Want to make sure they are playing carefully here. Because the last thing you want to do is start a best of 3, 1-0 down very quickly here. And of course, it's always kind of do or die on any sort of early game aggression. You know, if it works, it's great, but if it doesn't work and backfires, it can often be absolutely awful for you as well.
It's worth noting that Blue 9-0 and Cocaine are staying quite a long time up the top here. We might not be seeing a 2v2 down bottom lane.
I don't think so, and they've done that quite often actually. They've swapped themselves up. I mean, one of the nice things about playing these sort of late game duo lanes that are normally seen in the bottom lane is that if you put them in a 2v1 situation, it's usually much, much easier to collect the early farm and kind of get the levels that you need early on to kick things off. So no surprise, we've seen it from them before. I mean, Aqua Prison is really, really good against one champion. If you can land it, it's often absolutely devastating in there as well. And looks like both junglers are just going to start off nice and normally, and we're going to have a couple buffs taken here at the early levels.
And it looks like, once again, HotSoggyDecimate seem to have anticipated this lane matchup. Oh, see a little bit of trade damage coming up the top here. And it's going to be 2v2, but up the top lane.
Yep, so here we go. I mean, we see this happen. One team wants to lane swap, the other team's like, I'm pretty sure I know what's going on. We're going to swap again. So it's kind of like we're playing, you know, regular standard League of Legends, except we got 2 guys up the top and other 2 guys up the top. So, I mean, this is what happens when both teams kind of figure each other out and go for the lane swap. And, I mean, it's just going to be a normal 2v2 lane here. I guess go ahead.
You go ahead, sorry.
So I guess the biggest difference here is that what jungle pressure is going to happen out here. So I mean, bottom lane potentially, I mean, we usually see the top lane getting ganked. Maybe they're going to mix it up instead here. As Lux is very low in mid, you can see Elevate. Clearly, I mean, that stun is scary. He actually had one there. I think Trashboat very wisely didn't want to walk back into flash range there, because that would probably been a quick kill. Top lane, actually, we do have some action, and Blue 9-0 already forced to flash out of the way. And I mean, it's kind of funny. They very, very similar comps up here. We've got hyper carriers up the top who can do a lot of single target DPS, their left to auto attack. And of course, both supports have 2 different Q abilities that if you nail someone, they're usually going to take an absolute ton of damage. And down the bottom lane here, this is bad news for Riola. He's going to come in there. Good taunt there. He's going to try and get out of this one. And a bit of slow there, a bit of love tap there from Nasus for a tiny bit of damage. But Shen reads that one nicely, and a good attempt there from Nasus.
And no real kill pressure on a really tanky Shen from that Nasus, but just that irritating factor of being in your lane, making you think about your positioning, blowing a few potions. It can affect those 1v1 lane matchups. Yeah,
absolutely. You see in the mid here, Trashboat just staying at range. He does not want to get too close to that Annie. Of course, Annie, despite having a very long auto attack range, has quite the short spell range, especially compared to a champion like Lux, who's got absolutely massive range. So we'll see that Elevate clearly got ahead in the early levels, like as you said, we've seen him do, but I mean, he's going to have to dodge these light bindings and, you know, make sure he stays in it here. And of course, once level 6 happens, we're probably going to see fireworks here. As soon as it looks like it's getting pushed in by Shen. That doesn't happen too often against Azir, but I guess he does need a couple of levels early on.
It's worth noting that in the mid lane, a little bit of a greedy pickup here. Only 38 magic resist coming out from Lux against an Annie, against a burst champion. We saw that just a level 2 combo without Ignite took him down very, very low. So the kill potential is extremely high for Elevate in the mid lane.
And we could be setting up here. You mentioned kill potential. HotSoggyDecimate going to try and come in Elevate there. Will he go the flash stun? He maybe wants to. He's looking about it, but does actually back out there. You could see the swells around there. The stun was ready. Summoners are up as well, so not going to go for it there. I mean, a good attempt there by Nasus. You don't really need a whole lot when you've got an Annie there to stun in, but again, just maybe a little bit of pressure, although I think back in the mid lane we do have some action happening. There it goes, Trashboat going in there, the Ignite down is a good barrier. Great shield there as well from Lux, and Trashboat gets out of the way there, and Nasus almost paid for that with his life. That was a very aggressive dive there.
Both HotSoggyDecimate and Trashboat flashing red. Really, really close engage there. The flash came out from Elevate. He won't have that up for level 6 now, so a little bit less level 6 pressure for Annie, but no kill.
Oh, that's a stun there. That could be bad news for Zaki. Flashes out of the way. Bluey 90 though. No red buff there on Nasus, so no slow, but the auto attack's coming through for Annie. They're going to try and turn him into blobs, but Bluey 90 is going to walk out of there. And I have to say, good timing there. He was very quick onto that mid lane after Lux had to back away, so even if the gank had kept going, you have to think that Zach was going to be around there as well. And both these junglers just feeling out the lanes, trying to pressure here, but no blood spilt yet.
We haven't touched on it actually, but very, very aggressive opening coming out from Suna here. He started the red pot, so he does have kill pressure, especially at level 6, just to be able to burst that extra 15 AD, that extra 200 health or so. It could be the difference in a trade.
Well, he mentioned he was aggressive. I guess the red pot is really going deep there on that one. I mean, of course, it got nerfed a little bit. The gold kind of got taken off there, but looks like top lane now. We've got Blue 9-0 could be in trouble to condemn there from Decimate. He doesn't want to take too much damage. You can see the expunge almost gets in there and gets very low, but looks like Decimate going to come back in. This could be bad. A good hook there. Lands on a Cocaine. Zephyr's trying to flay him back in, but doesn't quite find it. And again, the top lane very volatile here, but can see some stuff happening there towards the top lane. I think they are going to spot this one off. I could be too late though. Zach thinking about it, he primes a slingshot. I think he's going to give it up there. Actually, never mind, he goes in, but he's not going to find anything else. There, Lux roamed up the top there as well to try and see if she could pick off, but good wards there from HSD. They knew what was happening and they're able to counter that off.
Yeah, a lot of small skirmishes this game. Not really that surprising, given that although we talked about the Nasus' lack of ganking power, in a skirmish we took the armor penetration reduction, everything like that. A very, very strong skirmish champion.
Yeah, there you could see Elevate just before in the mid lane, just throwing out a stun there, trying to keep Lux honest, reminding her that, hey, you could be in trouble here, especially, and he's probably getting close to that 6, so we'll see that not too far soon here, as looks like we could be cooking something up here. Zach is thinking about it, he goes in there, Elevate gets knocked up there, there's the slow in there as well, but just a little bit of damage there. Lux, unfortunately, not quite in position, and no flash there for Trash Boat for the play. Now we could be seeing a little bit of counterplay as well. Everyone's got to stay very still.
It was actually very awkward for Zach there.
Yeah, sooner they come in, it's good stuff from Elevate! First blood comes out there, and Wombo combo. What's better than a Tibbers? It's a Deathmark Tibbers, Papa Smithy.
And the roam comes up. No wards at all in the bottom side river there for FIGJAM. First blood to HotSoggyDecimate.
Yeah, there we go, and a well-earned first blood as well. Looks like your prediction on Annie probably getting a kill there and Lux in mid lane did happen, and she did hit level 6, and of course, stupid amounts of damage coming out with Suna's Deathmark in there as well. And yeah, he's actually still got his summoner up there as well, so just kind of walked in there, used the gap closer of his ultimate, and then was able to clean up there, and a very, very nicely placed Tibbers there from Annie. I mean, it's an AoE, it's got a reasonable cast range, although Annie's spells, as we've said, are quite short, but if you can snipe somebody with the edge of that AoE, you will stun them if your stun's available as Annie, and that was beautiful play from both those players.
And just great map movement from Suna there. You don't usually expect in a 1v1 bottom lane for an aggressive champion like Zed to get to mid lane. Completely unknown, but the lack of ward coverage there was apparent. Fantastic first blood.
Yeah, looks like we're going to see people going back. Got a couple of wards being checked for. Zephyrus just hanging out. Gonna make sure everything's okay. Make sure they have vision of where they need it to be. Up in the top lane here, just checking the CS between these two 80 carries. You can see it's pretty close here. Twitch is a couple of CS ahead here, but I mean 58 to 52 is not a huge deal here. I mean, we saw so much, the attempt on both 80 carries live so many times up there in that 2v2 lane, but apart from that mid lane, no first blood, and ooh, that's a spicy back there from Zed. I think he's going to be enjoying the rest of his lane.
Yeah, a BF sword opening is not something we traditionally see on Zed. Bloodthirst is a very strong item on him, but doesn't quite have the dual pressure of that Blade of the Ruined King. I would have almost put my house on a Bilgewater Cutlass, but BF Sword is the pickup, and it'll give him that much more poke and that much more wave clear right now.
Yep, and looks like in the top lane here, we do have something here. I think Rioli's like, uh-oh, this could not be good news here, but just a few wards being placed here and there.
Nasus put down the pink ward at Dragon. Of course, yeah. Nasus level 6.
I think after the little spot there, but Shen, the spider sense is tingling. This is really smart play from Blue 90. He knows what's up. He's going to knock up HotSoggy Noodles there as he gets in with Slingshot. Shen actually coming around as well. He actually pops the ghost. This could be bad news. Let's bounce channels there as well. Good stun there, but a nice ult there from Nasus. Zed going to try and come in and play clean up. Lux there tries to miss the ult there, and Blue 90 is going to keep going. In fact, Suna's doing so much damage with the BF Sword up in the top lane as well. We did have a kill. Standard United used in there as well. Hook just missing in the Elevate though. Wants to try and make the play. His flash is so up. It's very, very close. He's going to run up. Beautiful tip is there from Elevate, and he picks it up and rides the Latin away.
2-for-1 trade for HotSoggyDecimate. It looked like all was lost when the Death Sentence went out, but Elevate, wonderful play.
Yeah, so craziness there. 2-for-1, I believe, yeah. 2 kills there up in the top lane. They picked up one and then kind of semi-dive there for the other with some nice movement there from Elevate. And down the bottom, Nasus actually died in that exchange as well, and Suna could not get the kill due to Stand United there from Riolu. So really nice use of the abilities here, but currently the kills slightly ahead here for HotSoggyDecimate. 3-1 right now with about 700 gold.
So speaking of Blade of the Ruined King, the Bilgewater Cutlass was the rush from Vayne here. It's going to be the Blade of the Ruined King Vayne, much like MVP Imp, probably the most famous Vayne player from Korea, loves to pick up that item just because it makes you a dueling god. You cannot 1v1 a Blade of the Ruined King Vayne.
I think Blue 90 spotted it. He's like, oh, I don't like the look of this. I remember last time when this happened, you towards mid lane. But I think they know now Lux probably going to play quite carefully here.
Well, like they have that threat of the Zed pastry time. Suna has shown that even though he's a bot lane, he's happy to give Nasus some farming. He's able to AoE down some waves, get tanky faster, and Zed's just looking for those kills.
He really is, isn't he? Looks like Shan. I mean, look at his items you can sell here. And they're going to go for it again. There's the delivery shadow forward. Deathmark used that damage up from Elevate. And I think that's good. Neither Deathmark procs and picks it up. Elevate, though, knocked up on the turret. Beautiful play there from Bluey to pick it up. But Suna, he's scary. Bluey 90 realizes he has to get away. There's the slow that's coming out from the E. And more damage coming in. He may pop the passive, but can't quite get it. And looks like Riolu coming through now as well. Wants to try and get the taunt off, but Suna's already out of there.
That was almost a light binding from the grave pastry time, but it helped take down Elevate. Countering kill.
Yeah, and again, another nice use of that combo Suna. Blue 90 cannot be happy with what's going on. In fact, he's got to wait a couple of seconds as well. That passive was not up, I believe. There is Zephyrus going to take damage. Tidal Wave going to come in there as well. The knockup comes out. The damage doing there from Thresh. He flays him back. Cocaine very low there as a Grey King. They comes into the wall. Beautiful hook there from Zephyrus. And Blue 90's got to be careful. That final hour's pop. The Vayne movement speed's coming in. But he very, very quickly ambushes out of there. And Twitch, he's got to be happy he's still alive.
And the item advantage coming out there for the Vayne, helping them strongly. Very, very nice play.
Yep, good stuff there. Again, Suna's movement around the map has been so good. I mean, I mentioned Shen's items before. He's got 2 armor items in Chain Vest and Cloth Armor. And he's got a Giant's Belt in there as well already. And oh, I think we see a repeat of the kind of level 1 there. There's the Wither coming out. Suna coming through as well. Looking for the slower. Good taunt actually clips Suna there. And he's going to W away to his shadow there. So Riolu, as I said, very tanky with those items. Is really trying to shake off as much of that damage as he can. And thankfully in that gank he was able to pretty much shake it all off.
But Suna's really picked up an adaptation here. He realizes that he needs that last Whisper to do damage to Shen. He won't have that split push pressure that you might expect from a Zed pick. He's just going to group and try and snipe kills, which, perfect play.
He is indeed here. Elevate just kind of fiercing here in the top lane. Zach hanging around. Looks like bottom lane actually, HotSoggy himself is setting up. Yeah, he's just hanging out, pushing the waves in. I mean, as you said, he's a good wave clear. He's got that Spirit Fire. So he's able to move those minions out if he needs to. Looks like they're going to go for it again. Sooner steps in there, but Trash, but I think he's learned the trick this time.
First time, second time, third time.
Yeah, not going to get in there, unfortunately, I suppose, for the HSD fans. But I mean, Sooner's, again, his movement's been so good this game. And Elevate, it's so scary when that stun's on Annie. You just never really want to walk into it. In fact, they may even posture for a dive here, but looks like they're not quite going to go for that. And I really like this transition from HotSoggyDecimate. They've identified that, you know what, Suna's doing well. He's got an early BF still there as Zephyrus hooks a minion, because hey, why not? Although I think he's trying to stop this tower from going down. There's 3 members on it. The box gets activated. There's Zephyrus going to get aggressive. Blue 90 bounces on top. That good exhaust are coming up from Zephyrus. And Decimate in there just in time. The Condemned coming through as well. The standing out there will make it bad news. But Blue 90 gets absolutely jumped on there by Suna. A good taunt there from Shen to shake off some of that damage. But Decimate trying to chase it down. He picks up Blue 90, sorry, and Suna bleeding low from the Ignite. Doesn't quite go down. The Aqua Blizzard comes out. Riolu tanking a little bit there. Tidal Wave to get it off. And Zach Blob's here. HotSoggyDecimate is working on the elevator coming through as well. Cocaine gets stunned. Obliterated there by the combo. And Riolu's got to be happy he's out of the way. Blue 90 is dead. Suna on ridiculously low health. But a really, really nice bit of movement there. That's going to give very, very nice kills there over to the HSD side. It's 8-3 now. And look at that gold popper. It's ticking up.
HotSoggyDecimate are just in the right place at the right time consistently. They're not constrained by their lane matchups. They're always the first one to get to an exchange. We saw the bottom laner there got to the top exchange fast. We saw Elevate got to the exchange before Lux, and they're picking up the benefits from it.
Yeah, just in general, it seems like Suna's aggressive movement is kind of leaving FIGJAM to play a little more passively, and that gives everyone else room. I mean, you know, Nasus was down the bottom farming, using the Spirit Wire to push in the bottom tower to kind of prevent Shen from doing that split push, although he has picked up his Fun Fire Cape now as well, so he's going to be able to get that split push going. If he wants to trade here up in the top lane, he's Decimate going to go into Blue 92. He's got to be careful with the Lantern there just for safety, but he wants to kill. 1v1 there as Vayne picks up Twitch.
And the Blade the Ruin King versus just a Vamp Scepter pastry time. He tried to go for the sneaky stealth all in, but he just doesn't have the items to complement it.
No, and we said Blue 90, a very aggressive player. He likes to get in there where he can, but really do have to pick your spots. I mean, he'll still be great late game if he can get his farm up, but I mean, Vayne is such a good duelist 1v1 with Blade of the Ruin King, and Decimate really showed it there.
And the genius of the HotSoggyDecimate comp is, in fact, that Nasus pick. You know, we've been noting on how Nasus has been spending a lot of the time his game down bot, clearing down waves.
Oh, Blue 90, good initiation, great Aqua Prison as well, but Decimate picks up the tower. Cocaine, he's going to be in trouble. That squishy Nami's the life binding does hit. Decimate tries to double out of it. Bluey, there's going to channel Let's Bounce. Zephyrus with the flame flashes out as well. Decimate still guarded. He's got no mana. He's got to try and get out of this, but the damage comes through. The life binding will just miss, but the Lucent Singularity picks him off there, and Trash Boat finally the one to be roaming.
Absolutely, and it was just a good activation, but it looks like they will lose Dragon as a trade.
Very sneaky there. I mean, good call as well from HSD. They knew they committed a lot of people towards the top lane there. They got the tower as well, which was nice from them. And I mean, this tower might go down here. It's pretty low, and there's 3 members right now with FIGJAM up there, so that is going to go down as you see the towers even up there at 1 apiece. But yeah, very sneaky move in there from HotSoggyDecimate. And you know, they'll be happy with that gold. You can see again, it's still about 3,000 gold ahead.
And the global gold from that exchange, slightly in FIGJAM's favor. A great roam, they got punished for it, but the turret just evens it all up.
Yeah, and you can see the item down the bottom now is all finished up for Zed. He's got the Bloodthirster ready to go. So, I mean, not the Blade of the Ruin King we're used to. He wants to be more aggressive. I guess he wants to just roam more and help his team rather than be the split push guy. And you know what? That's perfectly acceptable on Zed. Certainly not the style that we're maybe used to seeing, because Zed is just so good at farming and you can't really duel him with Blade of the Ruin King. But if he's moving around getting kills for his team, that's just as good, if not better.
And the irony is that the Blade of the Ruined King Vayne...
Oh my goodness, the flash Blue Knight Zero, goodbye! The Ignite there as well, Ebb and Flow to save him, but it's not quite enough there as Ignite comes through and Cocaine's like, I have to get out here, but there's a good stun from Elevate, Sooner in there as well, and that was overkill from Zed to Deathmark, that poor Nami.
Elevate's burst is massive, he doesn't even have a completed item. He only has picked up the blasting one right now. I'm not even sure where he's going. Could be a death cap first base time.
He's built his own little mini rod of Aegis here. Blasting on double throw and stalk shoes, that's all Annie needs, right? And that's him, it's just so scary. And you can see HSD grouping up now. Vayne's still in the top lane, going to get some free farm push in there as well. Looks like a good defense there in the mid from FIGJAM to prevent their middle tower taking too much damage, but it's aggression central. And look at Zephyrus there. He's picked up an Oracles. He's ready to cleanse out this map and really take control early here.
And in this 3.9 patch, of course, Oracles does not expire if you're killed as a support. You can afford to position aggressively, and if you die, your penalty is just your respawn timer.
Yep, the trade-off, of course, is that a minute is chopped off that total time as well. So, you know, it doesn't go away when you're dead, but it's not very useful. And of course, you get it for a minute less as well. So they've got to really make sure they get the absolute full value out of this Oracle's pick. And with the way they've been playing, with how aggressive their movement's been, and Sooner especially just moving around to Zed, I think it's a really smart pickup early here. And again, Zephyrus is an aggressive support. This is going to transition to not only just the way he plays, but also his Oracle's timing as well.
See the final spot doing very nice damage on Decimate. And I agree.
Oh, over the top, Elevate Sooner in there as well with the Living Shadow. But a Stand United burn there from Shen. Blue 90 was very, very afraid. No passive to save him there if he did die. And I mean, very nice vision there from Elevate. He knew he was there, sniped him over the top. Sooner in there as well with his W. And I mean, that just shows you the vision here that HSD have over the map. And with this Oracle's kind of coming in for Zephyrus and really cleansing the map of wards, you have to think that this aggression is definitely going to continue here. And this is not the side we usually see from FIGJAM.
And that 180-second Stand United cooldown timer is a big win there. They didn't pick up a kill, but the lack of split push pressure from that Sunfire Shen, 3 minutes of respite for HotSoggyDecimate.
Yeah, I mean, Shen almost seems somewhat out of place here. Blue 90 is very sneaky. Ambush there, Venom Cask in there as well for the slow. Sooner takes a lot of damage from that Twitch. It was now completed up that Bloodthirster, but not quite enough there to take out that Zed. Zed himself, I'm sure, is sitting on a ridiculous amount of gold at this point. 3-0-1 there for Sooner. He's had that Bloodthirster for a few minutes now, so I wonder what he's going to pick up. Looks like he is recalling back, and we'll have to see what he's got planned next.
Now, if he's concerned about Shen, if he wants split push pressure, it was going to be the Last Whisper. Clearly not. It's the Blade of the Ruined King. It's the instant kill Twitch build.
Yeah, and as I said, a little out of character here on the Shen here for Riolu. I mean, we've seen him on Rumble. I guess FIGJAM are kind of thinking that they want to do the split push, but as you noted, the split push isn't all that great if you're getting roamed on continually. I mean, it is one of the ways back into this game, but with the aggressive Oracles there from Zephyrus, I don't think HSD are going to try and let them in this game, although they're actually pushing in the mid now with everybody sort of absent. I mean, Elevate, he can AoE down the waves, is a reasonable level, but he'd rather save his stun for initiation, and if everybody's going to come through here, Soon is going to return there. They're going to see he does have that dagger and the build water cut that's building towards that Blade of the Ruined King. And the nice thing here about what Soon has done is that he's gone, you know, he's kind of like, okay, I'm doing well, I'm farming nicely. I'm going to get a quick Bloodthirster, roam around, get my team some kills, and then I can transition into split push, because they know that that's what Shen wants to do.
And we've praised HotSoggyDecimate's map movements. The person right now who's most constrained about map movement is this Twitch. He cannot be in a side lane farming if Vayne is there. He cannot be in a side lane farming if Zed is there. It's only really safe mid lane farm or empty lane farm that he has access to, and he's hurting for it. He's 31 CS down here with that Vayne.
He does have access right now to that, but looks like they're going to go in Blue 90 over the top there with Lux 16 shot, Elevate in the back, trying to pick up Trash, but he rides a lat, and now the Tidal Wave in there as well. Lux coming through, but an exhaust they use on Hot Socket Noodles, but Nasus is so tanky with it. A good flash out there from Zach. Riolu trapped in there as well, but he does pick up the kill there with his Ignite. Blue 90 now going to come back through, but Decimate's killing everyone there as Zach explodes into bubbles, and Suda snipes off the back there as well, picks up the low health Shen. Elevate going to get credit for that kill there on Zach, and that's going to be the tower they wanted. And as you said, Twitch found the empty lane farm, but HSD knows they have to pressure here, and they did. Mid tower's gone.
Well, team fight's gone down page time, and spray and pray is available. And that tells you about how constrained Twitch's movements are right now.
Yeah, I mean, Blue Knight Zero, he wanted to get in there. You even get a bit of bonus movement speed from Ambush as well, but not enough to get the right quickly from top to mid. And that's 2 outer turrets to 1 now. They're probably going to be working on that bottom tower. Nasus was pushing down there earlier in the game, so I kind of imagine that has too much health left. And I guess we would think about Annie's items choices before. Looks like Elevate's just going to go straight death cap.
And that's the massive damage, but it's probably going to be the Void Staff's second base time. He just wants to explode one person, hell, even a team if he gets the right ult down.
I find it fitting that you compared him to Reginald earlier, because that is classic Reginald there. Just, you know, a couple of Doran swings for early landing, some Sork shoes for the Magic Pen, and then straight Rabadon's Void Staff. All damage all the time.
So I was speaking to Cocaine, the support from FIGJAM, and he spoke about how he loved to get the double GP10 first, to start his economy going, then pick up the Sightstone, and finally just have those double stacks of wards for the whole game. He's actually being punished by Zephyrus here, who rushed the Sightstone, now has the double GP10, and the Oracle pickers, of course, got through the meager early wards because of the double GP10 start, and now the vision advantage has been consistently with HotSoggyDecimate.
You can see the wards being cleansed up there. HSD thinking about Dragon, but I mean, they've still got this advantage. They're going to clean through as many wards as they can find here. And they may just get this started. I mean, there's no vision left. They may know that something is down, but it's so hard to say for FIGJAM. And even if they could know, I don't think they really want to go in here. And I think that is going to be, yeah, it looks like they're going to pick that one up nice and comfortably.
It really feels like the Shen is the only trump card here. They don't really have an answer to the Shen split push until we see that last whisper come out from either Vayne or Zed. So that's when they have that, while they have the Stand United up, they have that window to split push. Team fights are certainly not something they can engage in right now.
Yeah, it looks like NASA's going to show himself down in the bottom lane again, just throw that Spirit Fire out, try and cleanse thing out. I mean, the only turret that's not quite down yet in the outer turret section for HSD is that bottom turret. Oh no, oh, there's the Deathmark Blue90. I think he's going to get exploded here. There's the pop. And yeah, he just walks away there as Twitch explodes there and so much Zed damage. I think Blue90, I mean, as you said, he's not safe in the empty lane if someone else is there, especially if it's Zed or Vayne.
But with the vision advantage and the mid turret being down, there's almost no safe place for him to farm whatsoever. Scary times for Vayne.
It is, and the bottom turret going down there as well is going to make it bad news for Twitch. I mean, Blue90, as you noted, he is behind on CS. He's caught up a little bit here, but I mean, just look at the item discrepancy right now. We've got Zeal BT versus Blade of the Ruin King, Phantom Dancer up for Vayne, and just very aggressive movement here coming through. They are going to walk through a ward there, so they will know that HSD are setting up. That's a very nice defensive ward there from FIGJAM. It's one you almost never want to have to put down, but you know, if you have to and you do, it almost always saves your life.
Now Zephyrus' Oracles has timed out here. They don't have that window to get the Baron pressure because they can't have the exclusive vision. A little bit of time, a little bit of breathing space for FIGJAM.
Yep, just some items being spent here. Looks like mass shopping is the next order of business. Soon up in the top lane now, just completely creaming these waves with BT Blade of the Ruin King. You have to think that last whisper can't be that far off. I mean, normally you see the Zed get the Blade of the Ruin King, zip off to another lane, and farm up not one, but two whole items from there, Papa.
Absolutely, and it's usually just the armor penetration combo. The Bloodthirst is almost a sixth item, just because your single target DPS without the Bloodthirster is massive. The Bloodthirster, however, scales on your abilities, scales with the attack speed from Blade of the Ruin King. Turrets are just going to disappear to this set.
Yep, Trash Boat as well, you can see. Trying to compete with the Death Cap there. He's close there. He's got Nudity Large Rod plus Blasting Line. Doesn't quite have it done yet. You have to think Elevate here. Looks like he's going to try and make some sort of aggressive play, which I guess at this point should be no surprise. He's playing Annie. He's got lots and lots of damage already. And I mean, HotSoggyDecimate doing exactly what they need to do, just grouping aggressively and trying to catch them out. I don't think they're that comfortable really diving a turret at this point. I mean, if they can explode somebody, then sure. But I mean, they've got Sooner to potentially split push if they wanted to. They've got plenty of presence in mid. And every time we saw HotSoggyDecimate do this sort of push siege style, they had Nasus. And I think they're so comfortable in this situation.
They're just a patient team, patient time. Like, we can see they're ahead. It's a 6k gold lead at this point. They have a massive vision advantage. But right now, they're just worried about getting that exclusive Baron vision and then maybe using the death sentence to really force a really good skirmish for them.
Yeah, some nice pings there. Actually spot out Elevate with blue pings there. Looks like they knew he was around. And mid tower, they're still going to get pushed in. Good ward there being placed down by Cocaine. Going to try and spot up Sooner. There's the final spot coming in from Lux. And I see something a little tricky there. Looks like he didn't want to do it there. Blue90 almost made some very heroic Blue90-esque play, but not going to be too aggressive this time. He knows his team needs him for damage, and they do start a full-on team fight. He needs to be in the back with his spray and pray ready to go. But I mean, as we said, very patient here from HotSoggyDecimate. It's a great word to describe them. They've clearly shown that they can play aggressively here in this early game, and they can play defensively, but when they're in a good position, when they're ahead, I think they're just very comfortable to close out a game in a reasonably safe way. And with how methodically we've seen them play in the past, it's no surprise to see that, you know what, they're just going to happily hang out mid lane for 5, maybe 10 minutes and just let Sooner do the rest of the work with the split push for them.
And although we talked about their difficulties against a Zac, we just saw Zac engage with the slingshot in a good spot. Could have gone for the let's bounce, but realized his team isn't going to win a team fight. They don't have the items to complement it. So Zac's kind of hamstrung, sitting at the back, trying to, you know, take some aggression away, but just not being able to get that fight he really, really wants.
Yeah, but Thresh as well has a fresh Oracles now as well. Looks like they're going to go in the slingshot. They want to try and kill Decimate. Final spark in there. There's a good chunk of damage to Vayne, but they're not going to go too deep here, and Elevate's so scary. Blue90 does not want to be near that Annie at all. I mean, Zed is already enough of a problem, but Annie is also very, very scary here. Void stuff not quite completed, but certainly on the way. And again, they're just going to happily hang out. I mean, as I said, Zephyrus with the fresh oracles, he's cleaning out the wards. They're putting down their own wards here. I mean, Cocaine, as you said, he's a very good at warding. He'll likely go back when he gets a chance and try and mass ward up here. But this tower in the mid is pretty much done. Blue, they're going in. They want Decimate, but they can't quite follow up. And, you know, Zach's initiation is only as good as the follow-up your team can give you. And right now, slowly but surely, HSD are wearing away this tier 2 in mid.
But you'll notice that despite their massive advantage, despite their fed assassins, HotSoggyDecimate have not been able to force an objective, really pick something up in about 5 minutes. The Zed is hamstrung by the Shen. He cannot get any auto attacks down that turret. And the pressure from Zach here, they've kept that turret alive probably 3 or 4 minutes more than you'd expect.
Yeah, absolutely, and credit to them for doing so. But HSD, as you said, a very patient team, will play the waiting game if they have to and clear out the tier 2 turret finally in mid there sooner, even roaming down, kind of expecting them maybe to group up and defend that turret. Zach here, again, looking for the slingshot. He's finding good spots, his Blue 90. He's getting onto Vayne where he needs to be, but it's not just enough there. Elevate going to take a ride in that lance. In fact, Vayne kind of left alone there in the mid, but should probably walk safely up. And looks like they may just go ahead and rotate towards the top lane.
And when it comes to Siege, I mean, HotSoggyDecimate, they don't really have any. It's going to be the flash tippers, it's going to be the turret dive, and they need to pick their spots, otherwise there could be a huge momentum shift here.
Yeah, I actually saw the inventory gleaming back at me there for Cocaine. He did, in fact, find time to shop, and it is massive wards right now. Not even the Ruby side stone. He's picked up a good stack here. Ooh, that's very sneaky there, down in your bottom right-hand corner. I think we're going to have an unpleasant surprise here. Looks like, yeah, Blue 90 is like, uh-oh, I should not be here. The damage is going to come through. Let's bounce activated, though. They're going to go in for it. Elevate actually kind of trapped off to the side. Light binding in there, his own hot socket noodles. Very split. Elevate trying to 1v1 and Zach, but he goes back in. A beautiful tip is there on 3 people. The box activated there for Thresh as well. And Suna is going to play clean up there. Blue 90 is dead from the death mark. Riolu put back in there. Blue 90 already dead, I believe. So they're going to clear out the blobs.
But only a 2-for-2 trade. And given where the game's at, that's a win for FIGJAM.
Absolutely, positioned really well there to try and make that happen. It was a little awkward, as I said. Elevate found the flash tip as he wanted, but by that time it was kind of too late. He was pretty low health, couldn't go in and support his team when he really needed it to. And I think they need to really make sure they're making their decisions carefully. I mean, that's one of the first mistakes we've really seen HotSoggyDecimate make. They're usually a very patient, very careful team, but that was just a bit of indecision. Do they want to fight? Do they want to split push? I feel like they could have rotated top a little better there.
Absolutely. They do pick up the turret, though, so it is a win in terms of a gold trade there, but kills that FIGJAM desperately, desperately needed.
Yeah, I think this next buy here from Soon is actually pretty interesting. I think indicating that he maybe doesn't really want to go for the killing the tank situation. I think they want to fight and just pick up other squishies, because he's actually picked up a different armor pen item. He's got Black Cleaver.
Yeah, it looks like the last Whisper is going to be late here, which suggests to me he's not interested in dueling Shen. He needs that last Whisper to really be able to use the Death Mark and kill Shen. But he decided to just say, no, never mind. I will have that AoE armor shred, and hopefully I will decimate and really, really complement that with, of course, Nasus' Spirit Fire, and just have some more team fight pressure from I will decimate. Yeah,
I mean, Vayne's just pretty much set for damage at this point. Got that trio of 80 carry items raring and ready to go here. And very, again, just, there's no control here for FIGJAM really past the river. And Suna picks that one up solo this time around. So nice job in there. That one, Blue 90, going to take a little bit of damage. The hook comes in there from Zephyrus to try and pick it up, but little far away there as the Zach slingshots out of the way. I mean, really, it's just a matter of how, oh my goodness, Blue 90. So much damage. Asuna again finding the right spot. The Elevate getting rode in, trying to get the stun off. Blue 90 does manage to slingshot over the top there. And Blue 90, in a rare mistake of positioning, found himself completely in the front of Zed. And honestly, if you're a squishy Twitch, the last place you want to be is directly in front of this fed Zed.
Absolutely. It's a complete deletion from the map for Twitch. And maybe now they'll look to some of the other objectives on the map.
They may just here. Looks like down the middle, and we are going to see FIGJAM kind of pushing through here. They are going to check it out. They know it's a possibility. And looks like they do know now. Elevate's kind of giving it away, kind of finds the ward. Zephyrus thinking about clearing it out, but it's too late there. Baron already cleaned out Trash Boat, just out of range of that hook in there as well. And the team fight wasn't bad before. HotSoggyDecimate, really good there. Trash Boat gets stunned by Annie, though, obliterated there as Tibbers comes through. And Zephyrus, I think, feels like he deserves the kill, so he takes it.
Absolutely, and the stun there was used, of course, on the Disintegrate rather than going for the Tibbers. He could have missed Tibbers. Disintegrate is the targeted spell.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in range and you click them and the Q goes off, then sure, take it there. I mean, did have to follow up the Tibbers there for that damage, but Trash Boat also deleted there off the map, and it's going to be a very aggressive push to the mid now. Middle inhibitor turret's going to go down. Inhibitor and mid's probably going to go down here as well. And at this point, I mean, look at the goal difference, Papa Smithy. We're 10k and a little bit more in change for HotSoggyDecimate right now.
I mean, 14k is probably 4 massive items, probably 1 massive item on each carry in the advantage for HotSoggyDecimate. it doesn't feel there's really any rope for FIGJAM to get back into this game.
You can see the rotation down now as well. I mean, when it rains, it pours. They're going to go for this tier 2 turret now down the bottom lane. The purple custom unit started it off. They'll be able to finish it fairly quickly. I think one of the nice aspects of the comp that HSD have is they actually push really well. I mean, obviously they got Nasus for the wave clear, they've got Zed there for that as well, but when they eventually get onto objective, between Vayne, Zed, who's an AD caster, and even Nasus' siphoning strike, which does work on structures, they're able to take objectives very, very quickly. So even if they'd maybe face tank that bottom tower, I think it would have been a very, very clean tower kill for them.
But they don't have that wave clear pastry tower, and that's where Lux can come in here. Lux is sitting at, with the blue buff, that 40% CDR. We all know how low the cooldown is on the final spark. They can clear waves, they can kind of delay the inevitable, but they need Twitch to do what he's doing right now. He needs to split farm as much as possible and just try and get competitive.
Yeah, I mean, you can see his items kind of getting to work here. He's got actually, what's that, maybe Last Whisper coming up here next. Got the pickaxe and the longsword, which I think is pretty smart. I mean, Nasus is almost always going to be in the front line. I mean, Zed, his health not particularly tanky right now, but you probably want to try and do damage. I mean, often the case of AD carries that you kind of have to shoot the closest target. I think that's definitely the case. And it's nice actually that Last Whisper will work on spray and pray there as well. And there we go, he picks up Last Whisper.
And that gives them some hope, because if you look down the HotSoggyDecimate lineup there, I mean, there's nary a tank item on anyone barring the support and the Nasus. We have 2 assassins, of course, Vayne and AD carry assassins. Oh, the turret dive.
I think Zed is doing very bad things up there in the top lane. Blue 9-0 going to go down there. Final spot going to come through. I think he's going to die here. The poison might even kill him. He popped a red pot? Yeah, he did. He popped the red pot and lived. Amazing play there from Suna. And Trashbot now going to go hook in there as well. And he coming through. Obliterates Lux there with the Tibbers. Riolu trying to come around the side. A good throw, but Decimate round the back there with the damage on Vayne. Going to try and get it done. That should be a kill that wants to Blue 9. Yeah, no passive there that does not pop. Vayne's going to keep chasing people. Riolu's getting dove now as everyone else comes in. And Elevate, they're going to clean up that kill. Lots and lots of people died. Cocaine left alive, but I don't think he's going to be able to do much here. There's so many people. In fact, everyone from HSD is still alive. And you know what? They don't even want the top inhibitor pop. They're going to go straight for the win.
And the pocket red pot to get rid of the Twitch Deadly Venom. Genius. And the first game here, Pastry Time, it's going down to HotSoggyDecimate.
It is HotSoggyDecimate, a team that played very aggressively here. Almost playing to the strengths of their counterparts, their FIGJAM in this game. And very, very solid performance there from HotSoggyDecimate. And I think, it's hard to say without really, seeing and talking to the players exactly how they're feeling, but I feel like the experience there really pays off here for HotSoggyDecimate, because they know what they need to do. And as we've said, they're a very patient, very calculating team. Even if they find themselves in a situation where they want to be aggressive, then they can be aggressive. And we've seen them be defensive as well, so clearly have a lot going for their lineup, even though they picked up pretty early in terms of when that team was formed for this tournament.
It's the little nuances that really appeal to me there, Pastry Time, especially the Nasus pick. I mean, the Nasus there, the wave clear he could provide while Zed roamed and really picked up those assassination kills, it stopped any potential split push threat early game. Usually Zed is focused on killing his lane opponent. He couldn't do that to the tanky Shen, but he sure as hell did that, of course, to the Lux in mid lane. He got to top lane, he showed the map vision, the map roaming, and they took down a fairly easy game there.
Yeah, really nice play. So don't go too far, guys. We do have game 2 coming up here in this best of 3. That's 1-0 up for HotSoggyDecimate as we kick things off. We'll go to a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with game 2 between HotSoggyDecimate and FIGJAM here.